Thank you, John Mellencamp. And I think everybody here knows that Farm Aid didn't accept things as they were, created an organization to help those family farmers and to build an alternative to industrial agriculture, which is why we're here. Brenna Chase. Brenna Chase is a partner with Susan Meredith. She runs something called the Little Creek Farm in Brunswick, Maine. There's Brenna over there. They're members of the Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners Association, a Farm Aid-funded group that connects farmers and growers in Maine. Brenna and Susan, they raise hogs, broiler chickens, laying hens, turkeys, ducks, grow flowers. And Brenna, if I can, you're an example of an alternative to what John Mellencamp was talking about a couple of minutes ago. You started farming, you told me, when you were a teen, bringing down the average age of farmers, which is a wonderful thing, I think everybody would think. You participated in a new farmer training program funded by Farm Aid, and now doing a ton of innovative stuff that is helping cause the local economy to thrive. So the end of the sentence is, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Thank you. I am a little out of my element here. I was feeding pigs this morning. So I want to thank everybody for making me feel like the work that I do is really important. And the governor reminded me earlier that Maine used to be part of Massachusetts, so I do feel a little more at home already. So what do I do? I have been working for other farmers for about 10 years, made my way to Maine, and 2 years ago became involved in the Journey Person program, which is a program of the Maine Organic Farming Gardening Association, which works to help transition young farmers from working for others to working for themselves. And that has been an absolute godsend for me. It's really difficult to make that jump even if you do have land, but for someone who doesn't have land, that's extremely challenging. Farming is hard work, and there's not a lot of economic returns. And I was really 10 years at a loss of what to do to move beyond doing this work that I love for other people. And how do I move to doing it for myself? Through that program, I'm proud to say I'm finishing up my first year on my own farm. I run, thank you. I run the farm with a good friend, Susan, and we lease about 50 acres of land where we raise organic hogs, chickens, turkeys, ducks, all on pasture, and we grow cut flowers. All of those products are sold only at our local farmers markets. We're lucky enough to be 1.5 miles outside of town and close to 2 really thriving farmers markets where we sell everything we produce. So it really is about as local as you can get. And one of the really nice things about that is if people want to know more about these eggs that they've just bought or just what we do as their farmer, they can literally just swing by the farm right after the market and see what we're doing, and we love to have folks come out and show them around. I don't know if I have anything else to say because I feel nervous.
You said it great, Brenna. Brenna Chase. I think everybody knows that in addition to his work with Farm Aid, Dave Matthews has a long history advocating for good kinds of environmental causes. Are you making a face like that's not true?
No, I was just nervous that you said my name.
Oh.
And now I know it's my turn.
I think most people know that industrial agriculture and the sheer amount of energy, obviously great source of climate change, environmental pollution, etc. Dave Matthews, what are family farmers doing differently which benefits this planet rather than helping to destroy it?
Well, I think the biggest problem that we face, there are many problems, obviously. The economy is a big one. And, the health of all of us and our children and our families are huge ones. But the big one, the one that's sort of looming, hanging over us, getting bigger and bigger and uglier, is the fact that our planet will not sustain us if we continue living the way we are. Because it cannot. And I always, people say we must save the planet. The planet, in my opinion, will be fine. What we want to do is work with the planet so we can make it too. And thank you. And the way that that money works, because it generally is when it's collected together, it generally works regardless of us, because that's the design of the corporate model, is that it works regardless of how we are. If someone does something wrong, they just get replaced. And the same mentality and the same philosophy of profit, profit, profit remains, and it remains in the hands of a few. And so it is essentially going to result in unhealthy practices, because it doesn't care, it cannot care, it is philosophically opposed to caring about us and our children. Anything for money and anything to those who have it and will keep it. It's just the way it goes. So we can't blame the people, but blame the model, and it's failing. But what is happening with corporate farms is the very same thing. How do we make food the cheapest way we can and use the land as recklessly as we can, in the cheapest way we can, and get as much food off of the land as we can, regardless of how good it is, and regardless of what it tastes like, and regardless of what it does to our children, so that we can get the bottom line. And the difference between that mentality and someone who wakes up before the sun comes up and works the land and cares for it so that the land will care for them, with their children eating that food in the morning and at lunch and in the evening, and taking care of their neighbors with that food, and trying to make a living off the land in the most honest way, is that those people want to save the planet just because that's the nature of what they do. And the factory farm wants to destroy it because that's the nature of what it does. And that's the difference. The family farmers and the small farmers will save the planet.